Yeah.
You know,
Hit that door, John. Hit that door. Yeah, there we go. God, so forceful.
A little forceful.
So that's what you use at the gym. You use skull candies?
Yeah, they're overhead. I can't. I mean, I don't know, the ones with the string, like they get caught on the hack squat machine and stuff, and the amount of times I've almost like yanked my neck.
I hate that. I hate that fucking that battle commander. Did you just break them? Oh my god.
No, they snap it. They snap it.
Those look like video game ones.
They are.
They are.
Oh, they are. Okay.
They are.
I thought you just snapped them clean.
Are you a video game guy?
I was gonna lose my mind.
No, they're good.
Are you a video?
Are you a video game guy?
I am.
I mean, it
For
works
me,
as a
it's-
bodybuilder. You're
Are
just
you?
sitting down. I
know
used
what?
to be.
Not anymore.
Heavily. No, well, I don't have time.
You and I just had that conversation the other day. That was actually the reason I got a new Xbox. Because I was literally like, well,
It's
we're
weird.
bodybuilders. We don't.
He gets a new Xbox. He still has a friend requested me. Super odd. It's weird.
We're not friends. We're coworkers.
We're coworkers. What did you play, Alex?
I was a PlayStation guy. I'm sorry.
Ooh, all right. So
mean,
that'll be the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for
Beginning
tuning
and
in.
the end. That I like PlayStation. I just I was always an Xbox guy for the
Yeah,
day
me
one.
too.
Halo. I was ripping it up on the first Xbox. I got it
was
for
a Skyrim
Christmas.
guy. Skyrim all the way.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah,
did.
but that's multi-platform. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah, fair. Very fair. I just remember, like, I think it's interesting because growing up, I remember I was also really into, like, anime and stuff, and I would watch, like, Dragon Ball Z and, like, Naruto and stuff, and, like, some of the guys are pretty built. So, like, I wonder, did that kind of, ink onto me and, like, kind of get in my head? And
I've
like,
been
as I
looking
go
for a
older-
hyperbolic time chamber to train in.
There's actually one right at my gym, the Pump House.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
We have one there.
That's why it's
and
called the pump house. It just pumps you up.
and
That's exactly it.
a float tank in the back. That's all you need.
Exactly.
Tons of rice.
That's it.
According to Goku. But we're on. So
Yeah, that
as
was it.
usual, that's kind of how we.
Okay, yeah.
That's kind of how we
I
start
realized,
this
I was
off.
like,
yeah.
oh, I see, slick. You just started it. So it's, like, very casual.
People are starting to pick up on it.
Yeah. They get it.
Yeah, no, it's
So,
perfect.
what's up, guys?
Welcome back to another episode of
The Voice.
and Rizzles. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be
Yes,
here.
we
Yeah,
have
I'm
Alex
honored.
in the house, and you're going to discuss a little bit about being a trans athlete and just what is the. I want to know the correct terminology. So
Okay.
when I before I start diving in, is it a transgender? Is it what is the correct way?
Right. So honestly, this is like something where I personally. So some people in the community like to attach the word transgender to themselves. Like if someone asks like, "Oh, what are you?" they would be like, "Oh, I'm transgender." But personally, I feel like that's very awkward. Like I always just say I'm a guy. I'm transgender is just kind of like. It's not my gender, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like kind of like what I've been through almost in a sense. But that's like a person to person thing. I always say I'm a bodybuilder that happens to be trans.
I like that.
Yeah, because
that was one of the best things I ever heard from you.
yeah,
I want to make sure we covered that today, actually.
yeah, because for me, I don't see being transgender as a very large part of who I am or my identity. It doesn't encompass my whole life. Like I'm not this like I don't know, like social justice warrior, like I'm a bodybuilder.
You don't
know?
wake up feeling different. You feel
Exactly.
like you are who you are.
Exactly. Yeah, and honestly, there's some people in I feel even weird saying my community because for me, I relate so much to bodybuilders and like that community. It's very weird. I honestly don't want to be like that, but I'm not like your typical case where I like to always involve myself in the transgender community and stuff like that. Like I honestly have some clashing views like with that stuff. But if someone asked me like, what are you? I'd be like, I'm a bodybuilder. I just happen to be trans. I wouldn't be like, I'm a trans bodybuilder. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that I don't know. I feel like hearing a lot about this in the news now and coming to light. And this could come off the wrong way, and it's not meant to be. But I
No.
feel like a lot of people
Attach themselves
to it to like almost clout chase
No,
and
I
and try
absolutely
to gain
agree. I
more
absolutely
credibility
agree.
and popularity in it. And just you saying that I don't really identify as that. I identify as a bodybuilder, but I'm also
Right.
a man.
It's
Yes.
kind of like treat me special because I went through this.
Right, exactly. And I never understood like if you want to be treated the same, why why make yourself stick out like that, you know, on purpose? Like the only way you, like, for example, like off social media, if we're gonna go like to clout chasing, the only reason I have FTM in my bio, which means female to male, so is because if anyone that was in my position a couple of years ago saw it, they'd be like, oh wow, I'm inspired. But other than that, I have no like interest to even have it like anywhere in my Instagram. You know, like you see, like if you go on my Instagram, it's all bodybuilding posts. It's not like transgender activist stuff. You know,
type stuff.
Yeah, so that's just who I am personally.
Which I gotta be honest, I was shocked when I found out because I had no idea.
You know, I'm not like, hi, I'm transgender. You know,
Which I met you too. I had no idea.
Which I feel like some people kind of do that because they want to.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be weird if you're like, hi, I'm straight? Like, okay, no one cares. like no one cares.
That would be weird.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hi, I'm Alex. What's up? Like, you know, if it comes up in conversation somehow, then obviously I'm not shy about it or like, you know, whatever. But it's not something that like is on my mind 24/7, I guess. So yeah, I would definitely say that's a problem that I see in the community. Is like you said, like people attaching themselves to this like transgender. Like the amount of times I'll get like DMs and they're like, oh, I want to start getting into working out and stuff. How should I train because I'm transgender? I'm like, you're a guy, right? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, so train like a man. Like there's no such thing like if you want it, but we all build muscle the same way, you know? I mean, like obviously, like especially if you're on hormones as like a trans man, like I don't like when people limit themselves like that, you know, like that's like saying, oh, I'm Italian, how should I work out, you know? It's just
I should stay away from the carbs because my fat ass gets fat real quick.
But like, you know what I'm saying, it's just like to me it's like so limiting. Like we all have those little things, and for example, like there is those like transgender bodybuilding shows, and like this is like a personal opinion of mine that like clashes a lot in the community, is I think those are so bad. Like, why? You are indirectly saying I'm not good enough to compete with them, so I'm gonna compete just with them, like just with the transgenders, because I can't go on stage. You know, like like so there's this term saying cis male. That just means a man born a man. That's just like a quicker way to say
cis male.
Cis male. That's what like a transgender might say. So in the community, so I just like some terminology. So if I say that, that's what I'm talking about. So like, it's like, for me, I'm a guy, so I'll go on stage on the NPC and compete with the guys. And honestly, a lot of them in these shows, these trans shows, I don't think they look good. Like objectively as a bodybuilder, I think like, you know, I'm kind of like, like I feel disrespected for like as a like for everyone in the sport, because I'm like, this is not bodybuilding. I went to Taco Bell a week ago, decided to do cardio for a week, and I stepped on stage. Like I don't think
So you feel like they're half-assing it and they're just kind of
and they're using
using the terminology to gain the popularity.
I think it's the money behind it. Whoever is making these shows, they're gonna capitalize on that. And
that's separate. I mean, it's not with the NPC or the IFBB.
No.
It's totally different.
It's a totally different organization, and I think it's silly. Like if you should compete, like it's obviously gets a little more complicated with like trans women because of like, you know, bone structure and etc. But especially for like a trans man, if anything, technically you're at a slight disadvantage. So you like I talked to Bev, I talked to Steve. They're like, yeah, of course, like you can go compete on stage. I mean, like.
Well, that's something, and I don't mean to cut you off. That's something that I definitely wanted to touch on. And I think before we get more into the competition side of it and maybe some of the pitfalls that you've had to deal with going from a female to a male and obviously having to adapt not only how you train, because there are definitely limitations from, I guess, the female anatomy originally, maybe smaller joints. I could be incorrect.
Right.
You're gonna clear everything up for
honestly, and that's another thing before we like really get into it. I do not get offended like at all. Like I'm you can just
open
go
book, which is good because this isn't an attack. This isn't anything. This is actually just to bring light and knowledge to people that like myself, which I told you at the gym. I don't know much about it.
And it's important.
I know a couple just media stories. The only thing that I've seen that I didn't agree with was a male transitioning to a female and then competing against females in wrestling and beating the shit out of them.
Powerlifting.
Yeah, and powerlifting. That was the only thing that I saw that I saw controversial and something that I didn't agree with. Otherwise, my whole standpoint,
Absolutely.
It's your body.
Yeah.
You feel uncomfortable. You want to make that change. Good for you.
Yeah,
If you feel that change is going to help you feel more comfortable, not only in life with yourself as a whole,
Right.
God bless. Do exactly
Yeah.
what you feel you
Absolutely.
need to do.
Yeah.
So, unless John has something that he wants to touch on before we start.
Yeah, dude, this one thing is how you call yourself a bodybuilder is just as who you are as a person, right? And then you see these trans athletes competing in their own division, their own competitions, you know, and you even said yourself, they don't look that good. Do you feel like they're using it as a handicap? Just saying, look, I did this, I'm a trans athlete.
Honestly,
but I couldn't
yes.
be-"
I'll go out there and be like, yes, because it's like, it's ridiculous. It's like, oh, well, I can't get that lean because I'm trans. Oh, I'm like, stop. Like, yes, you can. Like, to me, it's so frustrating because I hate when I see people that don't try to like maximize their potential. Like, why would you ever do that to yourself? Like, limit yourself behind like a label like that. I don't know if you're using it as an excuse, a scapegoat for clout, whatever it is. I just totally disagree with it. Yeah.
And the people are saying they can't get that lean. How many weeks out are you?
I'm 7.
You're 7 weeks out. You look better than every single one of those competitors on there already.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
you're just getting started.
Yeah.
You know
I'm
what
still
I mean?
I'm still holding some water, literally, like in my legs and stuff. So
Yeah, but
Which happens. It happens
forget
to
about-
everybody. Male,
Yeah.
female, that happens to everybody.
every-
and I always
Yeah.
say, look, I mean, if you really want to go that way, so what about the females competing in NPC? They get dry as hell. Like you're saying
Exactly.
that like there's no excuse, you know?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with it.
And there's no way to train like a boy or a girl. Like people call it the adductor machine, the inner thigh machine. That's a girl's machine. That's not a girl's machine. If you look at every
it's a
Mr.
muscle group
Olympia on
machine.
stage, their legs, they don't have SpongeBob in between. There's no thigh gap, right? They're fucking solid from quad to adductor to glute, hamstring. It's one big base. That's not a girl machine. There's no girl machine. There's no nothing. You know what I mean?
Or like
If-
the glute kickbacks as a girl machine.
But you know what? If a guy has to build up his glutes, you better believe he better be on that
It's
kickback.
made my ass phenomenal.
No,
Yeah,
I
your
have
ass is
I have to
phenomenal,
use
man.
it. For example, like a great example, like for me, I notice, like I hold the most water in my glutes. So lately, I've been doing more glute work, like more just like so. I've been doing the glute machines and stuff, and I'm like, you know, it's like I'm not even thinking about it. I'm like, what do you mean? Like this is not like I hate like there's no. It's not a gender specific thing. It's just it's a muscle group that needs to be trained. Like
Yeah,
so.
that's it.
It's a specific machine that was created to target specific areas of the
Yeah.
anatomy that everybody has.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There's not a vagina machine at the gym. There's not a penis machine where it's like, oh shit, I got to work my dick out today. Like nobody's doing that. It's just it's
That'd be impressive.
Yeah,
Is that-
right.
Is that
Yeah.
a secret, Nick?
Isn't that the machine in the back where you have to like stand over it and put all the weights on it?
Oh my god.
But
Yikes. Yeah.
But yes, so I'd like you to talk about the beginnings, when you maybe felt different. I guess you tell me what exactly
just
happened. Yeah,
from the
just-
start?
I'm
What
curious.
makes- what
I'm
makes
curious
you
what
you?
Right.
Yeah, what makes you you? Your background, why you were into bodybuilding, and then of course, how I'm curious. How early did you do the transition?
Right.
Is that what it's called? Transition?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you really want to start all the way back, so I wasn't. First off, I wasn't born in America. I was born in Romania. I was born in a small town called Satu Mare. It's in Transylvania. I was. My grandparents like own like a farm, and it's totally different. I don't want to be like that, but it's definitely more third world country than let's say America. And my parents I was born there. I came here when I was about 3. Like 4, like about 4 or 5. And my parents, just because the very usual, like my parents wanted to have a better future for me, because in Romania it's all, even if you have like my mom was an attorney, it's all politics, like it's who you know, etc. It's not like, it's not perfect here either, but if you work hard here, you can make money. It's not like that there, like you can have the best college degree, and if you don't know someone, you're not going anywhere. So it's totally different. And like, for example, in Romania, as far as I'm concerned, like it's mandatory to go to church and stuff. So it's like, it's definitely more like third world. And so we came here, I'm an only child. It's just me, my mom and my dad. And honestly, if you look at like, baby photos, I was always masculine in the sense that like growing up, my best friends were guys. I'm a very typical case. My best friend growing up, his name was Alan. He was actually 7 years older than me. I was in kindergarten. He was in 5th grade, something like that. Is that like it was a very, very large age gap, and there was also another guy named Travis. So growing up, I was always surrounded by guys. From a very young age, like my mom would try and dress me in like more feminine clothing, and I hated it. Like all I wanted to wear was like joggers and like a hoodie, which is what I'm literally wearing right now. So like
Tomboy status. I like that. Though.
yeah,
That's
I was always like I always wanted to physically manifest myself in a masculine way. It's a good way to say that. And then I would say about 8 is when I, you know, 8 is when I vividly remember starting to question myself, and I was like looking around my classroom, and I was noticing that I just felt very uncomfortable when people recognized me as a female. I felt the best way to describe what being transgender feels like is you feel very third party to your body and your life, because you feel very disattached and you have no control over like your body. It's like when people look at you, like they're not actually, like it's like you're almost playing a video game. Like you're just kind of following the rules and going along with it because you have to, not because you want to, or you feel as if it's the right thing to do. And I just, you know, I think I've always been more mature, which I'm very grateful for. And I realized, you know, I'm 8 years old right now questioning my gender. That's probably not normal. Like, and I didn't really I don't think I really understood that I was questioning my gender even. I just was questioning myself. I was like, why do I feel like this? I couldn't really pinpoint how I felt because it wasn't really taught in school or anything. I just knew that I was always so uncomfortable. Like trapped. That's like the best word I can use. It's not a good feeling to have, especially so young, because when you're that young, you should be enjoying yourself, you know, like it shouldn't be like something on your mind, like
you're developing and you're taking serious. You're taking in all of your experiences, and it's creating who you are. And
exactly
to jump off right at the gun and not feel like you are part of what you should be.
Exactly. And
that's,
I felt
that's a big hit.
And like, you know, it's not, and I felt very disattached from friends, family, and like that's not normal. And that's not a good foundation to build. And then so that kind of feeling went on for a couple of years, and it's funny because from 8 to like 11 there's no photos of me. And my dad's a photographer. Wow. So there's like I refused to take photos. Like I was just like, nope, I don't want to see myself in photos. And even my parents were like, that's really weird. Like all I did was like sit at home, play video games, and like it's funny because when I was a kid, I ate so bad. Like my parents and I always laugh. Like who would have thought I would have done bodybuilding? Because all I did was eat like chicken fingers and fries and play like. Was
it because you were a picky eater? Or was it because that was the go-to?
I just liked it. I ate like garbage, literally.
I was the exact same way though. Before I started bodybuilding, I was a fat fuck.
I wasn't even fat. That's the weird thing. I don't know how.
Just
but like,
torching through the food.
Yeah.
Well, piss off then. Fuck you.
And now you were in America yet? Like at this point?
Yes.
And when did you come over? What?
I was like 4.
Okay.
I was very young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was,
but I wanted to preface that with that.
Cool.
Because you know. I was thinking like, oh man, I have to tell my grandparents, and you know, I don't know how, you know,
super religious, super.
They're not even that religious, but it's just like so different in Romania. It's like for them, what is transgender? You know, it's just like such a foreign concept for them. It's like even talk. Not that they're very supportive. I'm very grateful and blessed, but like for them, when they first learned about it, they're like, what? Not that they're like, we support you, but we have no idea what you're talking about, like that kind of thing, which is honestly a good outcome overall. But anyway, I'm digressing. So
no, it's okay.
No,
it's okay.
Definitely,
yeah. Make sure here. You know what?
Oh yeah,
it's okay. Let's have you go a little bit over to the right.
And this will.
I just want to make sure everyone can hear.
Okay, here.
Yeah, you want it to be like dead center with your mouth.
Got it. Right here.
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
And so I would say about 11 is when I told my parents that like. 11 is the age when I first discovered the word transgender. It was kind of like I got my first laptop and stuff, and YouTube was kind of coming. Like I was on YouTube and stuff a lot, and I remember it was just like in my suggested, and it was just like how I knew I was transgender or something. It was so weird, and I was like, what? And I clicked it.
And this is way before. And I just want to make a statement. This is way before this was in the media, in the news.
This was
popular.
very
You said when YouTube was just starting. So this is real.
This is
and information probably was not as
prevalent,
and it was much more sparse and
exactly. Yeah. And I like found the video, and I was just listening, and like. I was just like in shock because they literally were just describing me. I'm like, oh my God, like I was just like baffled. I was like, because I never in school it's in middle school they don't really teach transgender. Like they talk about gay people. That's it. They're like, yeah, there's gay people. Okay, all right, let's move on. Like they don't really ever like talk about gender and stuff like that, gender expression and whatever. And so for me it was like, oh my god. And then I really started researching into, you know, what is a transgender and all of that, and I really let it like process, because that's, you know, from when you're questioning yourself for so many years and you finally find your answer, it's just like, wow, like for such a young person it's a lot, you know, to handle, especially at that age when you're already about to go through like a hormonal like roller coaster, you know. So so I told my parents 11 12ish, and when I told my mom, she kind of like they weren't super shocked that, like, you know, I had something to say, because again, like I've showed some pretty obvious signs that like something was off, and I was not taking photos, really secluded. I didn't hang out with people. I just, you know, stuck in my room, played video games. I was very just like hermit, you know, and which is usually a big sign of like an issue. And my mom my parents were never really exposed to the idea of transgender in Romania, so they just were like, okay, honey, like, we don't know what you're talking about, but let's go through this together. Like we will support you. And I can't even describe how, like, without them I would not even be like anywhere near I am right now. So I'm very grateful that they are so supportive, and I wish more people. It's even, you know, it's not even about support. It's just about respect. Like I mean, I'm grateful that they support me and like physically and with like financially, but, you know, I think most people, I don't want to say in my position, but everyone just wants respect. I don't need you to fund my whatever and, you know, stuff like that. But I just want you to respect me as a human being, you know? Like it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I really don't need you. I don't need you to agree with my transition. Just be nice to me, because, you know, that's common courtesy. But sorry, do you want to?
I want to take a big step back for a minute. This video you're watching about the person saying, like, this is my transitioning. Obviously, they were going through a lot at that time. Right. When you realized all the craziness they were talking about that they had to go through.
Absolutely, yeah.
Were you scared shitless? This is going to be my life now. This isn't a regular do this, and
I realized my life would change forever. I was like, okay, well, I realized that was a very, very big moment in my life that it's one of those, like, people say it's a choice and stuff, but like, who the hell would like, it makes life more difficult, you know?
That roll of the die.
Yeah, it's just like, it's silly. Like, who would choose? It's like you're kind of accepting the fact that people will shit on you and people will, you know, not like you, and now you have to, because, you know, for example, being gay or whatever, it's just, you're just holding someone else's hand. Transgender is, you're physically gonna like completely change, not just mentally and socially. It's a physical change, and those physical changes, once you take them, there's no going back, you know. So it is a very big deal, and I don't think people understand who in their right mind would just be like, I'm trans because I'm bored. Like,
right.
I bet there are people like that, and
which is crazy. I agree. Yeah. I'm sure there are people that will use. It's a crazy world. I'm baffled sometimes. I'm like, why would you do that? But I'm saying in the overall population of, you know, transgenders, I'm sure there's a couple that are just really messed up.
Do you think the whole Bruce Jenner thing was a real thing, or do you think that was like a publicity mostly?
I don't. It's one of those things that, like, she was in the public eye for so long. I don't think she could have avoided that. I don't know her well enough. I think,
yeah, of course. It's all speculation. It's all hearsay, thearsay.
Exactly.
The timing is what gets me with that whole case, though, because how, you know, nobody's really talking about Bruce Jenner anymore.
It's Caitlyn.
So yeah. But I'm talking about when he decided to transition.
Yeah, the name wasn't around anymore. It wasn't a household name anymore.
Right. So suddenly it was again, and then now I believe she's second guessing it.
Really?
Right?
I didn't even hear.
Yeah, I heard some speculation. I could be wrong, but yeah.
I haven't been following her like at all.
But like you said, second guessing it. That's it. You're it now. Like there's no going back.
And that's another thing. So when my parents and I were going through it initially, what we did was, and this wasn't my parents indirectly saying we don't trust you. It was just a precautionary thing because I was so young. they want to make sure it's not phased, which is which in my opinion I think is normal, because it's a physical change. There is no going back after this, you know. So I have a freaking beard. Like, I have fun going back the other way, you know. It's just like so. We went to this institute called the Acronym Institute. It's in the city, and they did like a heavy, like 3-day psychoanalysis on me, and they're like, yeah, you have a son. Like, there's absolutely no, like, because they.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yes, it's, and in my opinion, it's really important more people do this, because they really, like, I remember they were asking me some questions that were like, I have no idea how that had anything to do with it, but it was
diving deep.
They really and they like hooked me up to like things, and like they like literally hooked me up like my brain, and they showed me images, and they saw how my brain like physically responded and stuff. It was crazy. And you know, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, and at the end they were like, yeah, you have a son. There's like my brain literally like lit up the patterns as in the male pattern, not the female pattern, to certain images and like physiological responses. So and then from there, and that was about when I was 13.
That's awesome that they have they
I've never
have
even
something
thought
like
of
that.
Yeah, it's called the Acronym Institute. It's in the city, and I really, for anyone that's very young, you know, like I think it's important, because I mean, it doesn't get better than that, you know. It's not,
and there's no faking that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is
so
absolutely
in
no
depth
faking
that they're analyzing your brain waves and patterns,
Yeah.
and
if you're looking to do this yourself, we're talking about Manhattan, because we're New York right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
So it's in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's absolutely, like, if you're in the tri-state area, I definitely would do it, because not only do they do that, but afterwards, if you come out and they're like, yes, you're absolutely, and you know, it was comforting for myself too, because this is like, I'm like, oh my god, like, am I just crazy? So for them to, you know, really just solidify and be like, yes, you are. I was like such a breath of like fresh air. I'm like, I'm not crazy, okay, you know. So like,
yeah.
So from there they have resources for you, and I got like, they'll tell you these are the surgeons on the East Coast you can go for. These are the therapists on Long Island, because for testosterone, that's like the hormone that transgender men will go on to, you know, masculinize themselves. You need to be 16 and over to just go on it without like a therapist. Like, if you want to do it under the age, you have to go with a therapist. In the meanwhile, just because like you're already kind of going through puberty, so now that you're adding technically an anabolic steroid onto it, they just want to make sure you're good, you know. So yeah, and that's an actually, sorry, I'm gonna go back. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right after my Acronym Institute thing, I actually didn't go on testosterone initially. What I went on was an estrogen blocker. So pretty much this was like a final, just in case.
yeah, you still have the opportunity to stop it.
Right. Just in case you still realize you messed up or something, it's not the end yet. So from like 13 to 15, I was on this like estrogen blocker, which pretty much stunted my puberty completely. So I never really went through female puberty. Like, I never really developed breast tissue. Like, for me, that's what made certain parts of transitioning easier, was that estrogen blocker. So because I, you know, and my body never really went through, I told you this, remember?
Yeah, we were talking about it.
I never really fully went through female puberty, so my body hormonally reacts differently now. So, like, for example, like when I started testosterone at 15, 16, my body thinks it's normal to get its testosterone externally. So it's not going to like reject anything. I'm not going to have these like side effects and stuff. It's just like, well, yeah, that's what it thinks it's normal, because it never fully went through its natural course.
It was the time where your body was saying, okay, we're ready for these new hormones to come in, and this is how your body got those hormones.
Exactly.
Going, okay, cool. I guess this is how we're getting them. This is okay. This is the normal.
Exactly. So that and you know, socially transitioning, middle school, it was like, I don't even I'm not even like upset or anything. Overall I like good, you know. All my friends were honestly, a lot of my friends were like, I'm not surprised. I told them like, yeah, no, I'm serious. Like, a lot of my friends were just like, yeah, we're not surprised. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, oh,
but that's got to be a nice feeling.
Yeah,
that's got to be a really nice feeling. I had a friend who came out recently. He just said that he was gay, and I mean, I never knew, but you know, he said, I'm coming out for Pride. Was it Pride Week?
Yeah.
So I'm coming out for Pride Week. He said, you know, now's the best time to do it than ever. I used to work with him at 2 jobs ago. Awesome guy. And I just said, yo, dude, good for you, man. Like, what anybody that says, what? Fuck you. Like, oh my God, you're gay? Yeah, it's so fucking
I feel like
crazy.
being gay, so like it's not even that big of a deal anymore.
But even in your case, like if somebody said to me, I feel like I should be a woman if it was a guy friend of mine, I'd be like, listen, man, if that's how you feel, then good on you for feeling that way. Like, go for it. It's your body.
I don't remember what comedian it was, but obviously you can see where this is going. But it was, it's like, you know what? Fuck it. If you want to be gay, you go be gay. Suck the best dick you possibly can. Go be the best you possibly can.
And that's the thing. Like, I never understood why people.
I love gay people. I love everybody. I love
everybody.
Trans people. I love everybody. It doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't really affect anyone else other than, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, obviously, like, socially you're gonna interact with me and stuff, but me transitioning doesn't, you know, affect your, like.
It doesn't? I shouldn't be outraged? I feel like I should be outraged.
It's just like, in my opinion, like, when some people, especially when they don't even know, like, some people from, like, I don't know, a different state, you know, voting and stuff, and they're like, oh, like, screw these transgenders and stuff. Like, you don't even know me. You've never.
Because they live in a farm. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
No. But like, you understand, like why do you care so much? Like,
of course.
You know,
they care so much because they have their own internal demons that they're fighting on a daily basis, and they just can't. They can't live with the fact that somebody else is not only bettering themselves but fixing their unhappiness.
They have to target their aggression to somebody because they're afraid to look at it themselves.
See, I think it's actually a problem of exposure. Like, I think, you know, if a lot of people, like, for example, I was going to the Arnold Classic and I was in the airport, and I swear to God, I'm literally sitting there waiting for the plane, and two guys next to me are talking about, like, in a negative context about transgenders, and then they start talking to me, and we're just like talking about the Arnold Classic, and at the end they're just like, you know, you're really, like, they were like older, they're like in their 40s, 50s, like, they're like, oh, you know what, you're like a proper young gentleman, like, more guys should be like you. I'm like, oh, really? And I was like, you know, I'm trans, right? And they literally looked at me like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And they're like, and they literally, like, you could tell their faces, like they were like second guessing themselves. I'm like, yeah, I'm just a normal guy.
That's
like,
called an aneurysm. It's a small explosion in the head when they can't figure something out.
And they're like, wait, you're like, and they're like looking at me like, wait, you're a normal guy that I can just talk to? I'm like, yeah, like, you know, it's so I
had the tentacles taken off last week.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
2 arms, 2 legs, everything.
Yeah, exactly. So I think exposure is really important, and that's why, like, I want to do bodybuilding, because there's not many trans men that just do. I would say, like, mainstream bodybuilding through the NPC and stuff, and you know, I want to do that because we need more athletes. We need more of everything, and just to show that we're very capable. We're normal humans. We have goals, aspirations. I want to humanize. You know, we're not just a stupid label. Oh my God, I hate it so much. Like, we're actual people that have lives and passions and stuff like that. So yeah,
but the biggest thing is, forget about all that. You're doing it for you.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're doing it because you love it.
Exactly.
Not because I want to make a statement. Trans people can do it. No, fuck that. You're doing this because you love it and you have a passion for it.
Yeah. That just comes along with it.
Of course. But that's the most important reason. You see so many bodybuilders or bikini girls, whatever, getting into the sport for the wrong reasons. Because, oh, I see people doing it. Oh, because they got a sponsor. Oh, because blah, blah, blah likes, blah, blah, blah followers, blah, 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 look at my booty pics. But you're doing it because you fucking love it. That is the only reason you should get into bodybuilding.
Absolutely. Because you're not going to last either way. It's such a rigorous lifestyle. Like, it's so time consuming. Let's start there. So, like, if you don't like it, you're going to burn out really quickly, in my opinion. So,
you know, it's funny. You look at people who are legit bodybuilders now. You see so many people that are classic physique guys now. They're going into it because, I don't want to knock on anybody, but it definitely takes a lot less time to be a classic physique guy than to be a legit bodybuilder.
And honestly, I'm a case, and I'm okay with saying that. Like, I'm competing in classic because I know that I don't have the mass yet I want to in the end do bodybuilding 212. But I'm like, well, I have legs, so I'm not gonna do. No offense, I'm not gonna do physique. But, like, let me. And I also
just get
no.
cold in here?
Wait. I'm gonna redeem it. I also just can't pose like they do, like the flow. Like, I can't do that. So
it's very whimsical.
Yeah. No. It's like, there's definitely like a flow to it and stuff that, like, I really can't do. So I'm like, okay, classic. But, you know, yeah, definitely, you know, for me, just thinking about 212 and, like, that, even the lifestyle, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm so excited. Like, to put size on, like, oh, I'm so excited. So, absolutely. I feel like we totally, like, jumped topics, but yeah.
I'm gonna let you know something. This happens every episode.
Yeah, okay.
And
That's
I
the
don't-
point.
And
That's
I
the
don't
point.
care.
Okay, cool.
As long as we're having a good time, and we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
So, we'll jump back.
Yeah.
You were talking about the classmates. They were actually,
Right,
it was
right.
actually a little bit better than you actually thought, your friends.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you said it was a little upsetting, or?
You know what it is? So like it was like a mixed response. Like I had some people like trying to make fun of me and stuff like that, and it honestly never really got to me. And then it's funny because those same people, by the time we got to high school and matured a little bit, they were really nice to me. And like, you know, I realized like in middle school, if you get a bad haircut, people are gonna pick on you. Like in middle school, everyone's so bored out of their minds, like they're gonna attack any little thing. So when someone's like transgender, that's like a big thing. It's like, oh, you know, I never
Puts a target on your back for the real assholes.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's by, you know, I never really, like, I don't hold grudges and stuff like that. So by the time I hit high school, like, I was friends with, like, I was friends with the typical, like, people that would be against me, like, the jocks and the, you know, like, popular kids and stuff. Like, I was one of those kids that was just, like, friends with everyone. Like, I really didn't have a problem with anyone. And I think it's really important, what I did to achieve that I think is really important, is I never made myself the victim. You know, I never did take it personally. I know, you know, I wasn't like, oh, wah, me, I'm trans. I was just like doing my thing, acting normal. Like, it's almost like if you embarrass yourself in public, like let's say you fall up the stairs or down the stairs or whatever, you can be like so embarrassed, like, oh my god, did you guys see, like, that was so embarrassing? Or you can laugh and be like, that was fucking stupid. Like, you know, excuse my language. Like,
No,
No,
please curse away.
no.
I usually don't curse a lot, but
If you want to curse, you curse.
no.
Curse
man.
your fucking mouth open.
No.
You go right ahead.
no, I apologize, but like, you know, if it's the way you because
Handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you handle it like it is a problem, people are gonna see it as a problem. But if you handle it like a no big deal, people are like, oh, it's no big deal. You
Well,
know?
it goes back to your same concept of you're not trying to make your lifestyle around being trans. You're going,
Exactly.
cool, that was something I went through, but now I'm still Alex. What's up?
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
You're you. You're
Yeah.
you. That's the end of it.
Yeah, and you know, people all the time ask me like, oh, like, you know, because, you know, in life obviously you're gonna date and stuff, and like they're like, oh, did you ever have any problems? I'm like, no, because again, I never made it a big deal. They always knew prior. It wasn't like I had to sit them down and be like, we need to talk, like I'm trans and stuff. I hope you don't mind. Like they always knew ahead of time. They never had a problem. I've dated like, you know, that was like honestly like when I first transitioned, I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally gonna be single forever. But like that's not the case. Like I would consider I have like the average, like, you know, dating life and stuff like that. Like it's not like subpar, up par. It's just normal, which I'm okay with. So like, you know, it's all how you handle things, you know, and like so
You know,
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the people who peak in high school and live their whole life going, yeah, well, remember I was captain of a football team. It's like, well,
You're living in the
Jimmy,
past.
you're working at a pizzeria. You're 50 something, dude. Do something with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Still delivering pies. Like, but I was captain of the football team.
Coach put
It's
me
like-
in. We would have won that championship. We would have went to states.
Yeah.
And it's do something with your life. You know what I mean? So the people who live solely to say, hey, well, you know, I'm trans, so you have to treat me special. Well, you're living in the past. You know, if you went through a full transition, that's awesome.
Life's not gonna
Congratulations.
care.
Yeah, you're
Exactly,
you're,
life doesn't
you're a
care.
new
Your
Your rent isn't gonna care.
You still got to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
You're the person you felt like you needed to be, and
Exactly.
now continue on your life that way.
Yeah, it's like a student going through school that graduated how many years ago? Oh, well, I still have homework. No, you don't. You don't have homework. You're 40.
Yeah, and absolutely, and going back to like the whole like, you know, like your teenage years being the best years of life. Like I always, you know, I started really heavily getting into bodybuilding around 12th grade, I would say. And people are like, oh, like why are you taking this so seriously? It's senior year, like, you know, go have fun, do a party. I'm like, because no one's gonna remember me for drinking a beer. Like that's, it's to me, it's just
There you
like, like it's so. Like that's how I see life. Like I really enjoy that work and the like it for me personally. That's what I get the most satisfaction from. You know, like
The process.
Yeah.
I have no problem obviously like of having a social life and stuff. But for me, it's so insignificant compared to like my goals and dreams and aspirations. Like I'm willing to put everything on the back burner for them, which I don't know if it's healthy, but like I'm happy. So.
But you know what?
Like, yeah, good for you.
Yeah, you are the people you surround yourself with.
Exactly, and that's why I love
So,
Bevs. That's why
yeah.
I go to Bevs.
But the people that are going to be your good fucking solid friends in life and the ones that are going to help you get further,
They're not gonna question me.
no, they're gonna say good for you for not going out and getting smashed at 3 a.m. Because
Yeah.
you know what? we have a meeting tomorrow and we're going to set something up. We're
Exactly.
going to do something good.
And that's why I loved meeting so many people at Bevs with similar interests and hobbies, because you relate, you understand, you get the lifestyle, you know. I don't have to explain, like, when we go out, like, I'm going to have to eat this time. Like, we're on the same page and we have the same goal, so let's do it, you know. So, and I like that.
The friends that want to go out and get breakfast instead of go out and get hammered. Those are good ones.
Exactly.
It takes a sport that's usually very lonesome and solo, and it kind of creates a team environment.
Yeah.
Where even though he's competing in classic, he's competing in physique, and he's doing 212, you know, we can all still
You understand each other.
commingle, hang out, and we
Yeah.
understand that, oh, you got to be at the gym tomorrow morning early, and you got to get that meal in.
Right.
So
You're absolutely right about the bodybuilding being very solitary, though, because the time it takes to cook, to shop, to especially I know that when I after my show, going into my off season, it's gonna be purposefully naps, resting. You know, it's gonna be eating, like, and that, you know, that takes time.
I'm at the end of my off season right now, so you know, you don't see me on Instagram post, I'm here, I'm over here. It's my girlfriend's one to vouch for this. I don't want to do after my leg days on Saturdays. I don't want to do a
Because you're so
fucking
sore.
thing.
Because you're very sore.
I want to sit down, take a nap, and be a log for the next 2 days.
Yeah, and you know, I do want to do the social media stuff, but I'm not gonna try and be someone I'm not. Like, I'm always just gonna stick to the bodybuilding
I'm
and stuff.
talking about, like, look, hashtag out at the Nautical Mile. Hashtag look, I'm at the top of a mountain.
And that's another thing. I think it's so silly. Why are people so afraid to post their off-season photos? Like,
people don't ever
Sorry,
wanna,
I'm not
people don't ever
shredded.
want to do shoots with me
Yeah.
in their off season. It's amazing. They all hit me up the same time around a show. I'm like, why?
What a coincidence.
yeah, but like,
You can keep your shirt on.
meanwhile, you mentally and physically feel your best in the off season, in my opinion. Like, or you should at least. I mean, like,
That's
especially-
usually the most impressive time to do
Yeah.
a video, because you're throwing around some
exactly.
heavyweight.
Yeah.
You can do an epic
Just,
video.
I'm sorry, but you got to keep your shirt on.
Yeah, just don't take that. Just don't take your corset off. I mean, your waist trainer. My bad. Sorry, is that what they're calling them now?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like right now, I'm documenting my like prep and stuff. But when I go for my off season, I have no problem documenting that. I will show you exactly what I look like. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't, you know, because I'm gonna call it road to 212 or something, or road to whatever. Because that's the
Regardless,
goal.
You should be keeping yourself in shape anyway.
Yeah,
When
you
your
should
abs
be, yeah.
disappear, you're not bulking. You're getting fat.
Yeah.
I got fat. I got fat.
You're not fat, you're fluffy.
My first off season, I got fat. I got real fat.
But we all did. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
God.
When you can truly call yourself a competitor, a competitive athlete, and you lose your abs, you're not a competitive anymore. You're using this to justify eating like a fat fuck. If you're truly eating chicken and rice and asparagus, you know, good quality food, quality carbs, quality protein, and in reason eating some other good food that, you know, some Pop-Tarts, whatever you some Pop-Tarts, a lot of Pop-Tarts.
He slid that in real
A whole
quick.
cookie, a whole box of cookies. But anyway,
A cannoli.
if
Going
you-
to
A
Doology
box of
and
cannolis.
making a foodie account with the hopes that people are gonna follow me and I'm gonna get to 1 million.
yeah, or calling yourself like the cake boss, whatever you want to do.
Oh, God.
I'm digressing, but I'm living vicariously through this.
You're
But,
like, oh my god, food.
If you want to call yourself a competitor, don't be a fat fuck. If you want to say,
Hold yourself accountable. Yeah.
I'm going to be Mr. Olympia one day. Mr. Olympia isn't scarfing down 35 donuts in a sitting and taking pictures of it. Shut up, eat your meals, and do
Absolutely.
it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I've been around most of them. They don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know about you personally, but for me, I notice, I don't know what happens to my metabolism, but like when I'm dieting, and this is like an interesting part. This is the part where I think it's a little more fascinating, because like for me, when I diet, my body will switch to more of like the feminine traits, where like lower carbs, because I hold water and stuff. But then when I go to bulk, it's like the total opposite. Like my metabolism, I'm such a hard gainer. It's crazy. Like I go from I don't know if it's normal, but for me, like the change is like unbelievable. Like I noticed that like in my prep, 10 weeks out, like my body was like, that's it. Like the minute I started, like it reacted to carbs. Like my carb sensitivity like spiked up. I don't know if that's normal in prep, but compared to like my off season, there was a point in my off season that I felt like no matter how much I was eating, I just couldn't put more weight on.
You know what? It's even though you're giving yourself testosterone, you still have a female thyroid.
Yes.
And your thyroid's in charge of your hormonal production for the body.
Yeah.
So being a hard gainer, your thyroid's still going to release the amount of, like, say, human growth hormone that your body as a female would want to put in until you start, physically injecting human growth hormone.
Right.
Then your thyroid's, it's
then it's gonna be even worse.
It's on vacation.
Yeah, it's gonna turn off.
Then it's on vacation for the human growth hormone production.
Right.
So as long as you, at least when you're in a bulk, at least keep your quality fats coming in your body, your olive oils, your avocados,
Absolutely.
your almonds, but good cholesterol is what's responsible for your body's production of good hormones.
Okay.
So as long as you have good cholesterol in high doses and you're training like a savage, plus your testosterone levels are there because you're synthetically putting it into your body.
And it's very even. That's another thing.
And
like,
you're eating.
And yeah, exactly. And that's like one thing where I guess you could say, I mean, unless you are on PEDs, but like, for example, me versus a natural guy, my levels of testosterone are definitely probably more consistent when I'm on prep because they're not declining because of dieting.
100%.
Yeah, unless you're on PEDs. But
Yeah,
that's different.
But once you're in a bulk, if you're giving yourself the test, you give yourself the good fats you need to, and you're training the way you have to. You're training as hard as you do. When I see you in the gym, you bust your ass.
Thank you. Yeah.
Your body will produce the certain amount of growth hormone that it has to. Something you're not going to be as much of a hard gainer.
Right.
Because this is going to be your first full bulk as a competitive athlete.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming off stage, letting your body rebound back up a little bit, and going gung ho.
Right. Yeah.
So you'll gain. You might not be as much of a hard gainer as you think.
Right.
People think they call themselves a hard gainer, but you're eating 4 times a day, nothing's consistent. When you're consistent, a true athlete.
No, but I was eating like consistent and everything.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying giving yourself a whole year of it now. You know what I mean? And with all the knowledge you've gained.
Right. Absolutely.
My bulk this year was 10 times better than the one 3 years ago. Why? Because I didn't know a fucking thing. Same thing with you. Every year we get a little bit smarter, a little bit better, a little more consistent. So you're going to be, the bulk you have 3 years from now, it's going to be 10 times what you had this year.
Yeah.
Even though this year you're going to realize, shit, I put on way more size than I ever did. Next year you're going to be like, wow, that last bulk kind of blew. And even the year after, wow, that future bulk kind of blew. You'd
Oh, especially me. I'm always so hard on myself. Like I could literally have like what someone would consider like a really good workout. Like I'm literally like on the verge of puking. I'm like, I still didn't work hard enough. Like I'm always like that. It's so bad. I'm like, I probably like it's and like I can sit there and be like, oh, maybe I'm being too hard on myself. But no, that's what's gonna make me push harder than other people. So,
it's like taking your body to a new plane of thinking or understanding, like a pain threshold too. You used to think like, this kind of hurts, I guess I'm done. And we've all experienced this when you first start working out. Then you push it another rep or two and you realize, wait, that pain I felt last week, I'm way past that and I'm okay. My arm didn't fall off. Let me push it a little more. Let me push it a little more. And you'll soon very quickly begin to realize that what you thought was your stopping point is way more than you ever realized. And I don't even know what that truly is yet. Neither do you. None of us do.
right.
Even Mr. Olympia's beginning, wait a second, I can go way harder than I did last week. Maybe like this a little bit further. I feel like the truest point of people truly understanding what that max pain threshold is the professional strongmen and the powerlifters that quite literally pass out.
Yeah.
I
They
feel
really
like
one rep max that. Like they truly failure.
pass it. Yeah, true failure is you're clocked out.
Didn't Thor get or the Mountain? Didn't he get
a stroke?
Didn't he get like Bell's palsy? He
got Bell's palsy. So
face
I guess,
was numb. The one side of his face went totally dead and numb.
Yeah.
That's what Bell's palsy is. It's
Yeah.
like paralysis of
Is
your
it,
face.
is it like permanent?
I think it's permanent
it's
for
permanent.
him.
Wow.
So-
that's terrible.
That was for the 1,000 pound or a little over the 1,000. Like
I think a little more.
I gotta look that up.
But my point with all that is getting Bell's palsy.
And
I think that's safe to say that's a 100% pain threshold.
Absolutely.
So everyone out there that didn't pass out with a rep or literally didn't give themselves half a stroke, probably a little more in the tank. So push yourself.
And that's another thing. Like, if we're gonna, that's so terrible. Like when I hear things like that, like for me, like being transgender, it is not that big of a deal. There are people that are literally like I consider myself so blessed. Like there are people starving in Africa. There, obviously, like I'm not gonna say that there aren't struggles to being it or being in the position if you don't have like support and stuff. But there are people that are literally missing basic needs. They can't walk, they can't see, like, you know. So I always remind myself that if I'm ever having like a bad day or like a bad workout, and that always just like heightens my mood by like 6, because I'm like, you know what, I'm actually so lucky I can even work out right now, you know. And it's no excuse. I should be able to push much harder, like, so, you know, it shouldn't matter, because it really doesn't. If you can do it, like, you should be happy that you can do it, and you have the option to. So
With the resources.
Yeah.
It's like you realize you were transgender at an early age. There's people in third world, fourth world countries that realized, are there fourth world countries? Or am I just going crazy?
I have to Google something else.
I think I was
very
just going off.
Underdeveloped countries.
I think that's Atlantis. I'm pretty sure that's Atlantis.
It's one guy in a third world country really having a shitty day.
Yeah.
Just really having, or a guy in a third world country that decides to, you know what, I'm going to secede. But anyway.
Looking it up. Fourth world countries. The term fourth world countries is used to describe parts of countries in the third world that are most stricken by poverty. So it's even worse than the already poverty line of third world.
It's like third world.
So
square.
even the guys in third world, fourth world, and fifth world countries.
Oh God.
I'm just giving Nick a Google search time
like,
here.
no, like, it's seriously, it's so
people
true.
that go through all that they are transgender. They're born transgender,
And
they have no way of even knowing what that is.
Exactly. Like, if they literally be like, they're never going to be even exposed to the concept or like the idea of transgender, they're going to question their whole, like, all their life.
So they might be thinking they're crazy, but in reality they're a perfectly normal person.
Or maybe they don't even have the time to, because they're too focused on, let me get some food for today. You know?
Clean water.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot that you take for granted.
Exactly. Like, you know,
Just walk into the kitchen and getting my Brita.
Social issues exist in countries where you have that. I don't want to say luxury, because I don't want to, like, you know, but like, it is
a luxury.
It is a luxury.
All this is a luxury.
Exactly.
The ability for us to broadcast this type of information and
Absolutely.
stories on a weekly basis, and not only have video but also have audio so people can listen when they're doing their cardio.
We have the ability to reach out to everybody in the world via something that fits in our pocket. That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah, like, again, there's some people that their children are dying, or they you know, they don't have water. So it's just like, to me, it's really the pain I'm feeling mid workout is nothing. Me being transgender is absolutely nothing. It's just like, it's so insignificant. I like to remind myself to think in the bigger picture, you know. So
The drop in the ocean.
yeah, exactly.
So let me ask you, because I'm curious. So, you started to transition in high school. Middle school.
Yeah.
And when was it totally
Done.
complete? Technically
done.
medically, I guess you could say complete.
Okay.
Like 11th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, literally, like, when I finished physically transitioning, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start working out. that's how I know. Like, literally, I had my surgery. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go get a gym membership.
And how much downtime was that? How much recovery time was it?
Top surgery, honestly, again, because
You can get into this as much as you want, or don't
we just
want.
we should just call it top surgery.
Top surgery.
Yeah, that's like an easy way to say, like, you get
Breast.
so yeah,
The mammary glands.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's different types. Again, I was lucky. I never went through female puberty, so for me, it was pretty much like a gynoplasty.
Okay.
Because it was really.
I know I got a lot of questions when I put up the post about where the hell are your scars, because whoever did that surgery did a great job.
Thank you.
But it makes sense that it was just the gland then, right?
Right, exactly.
So it wasn't breast tissue to take out.
I never really had much breast tissue. It was just the glands that were
Okay.
there. So they just made two small incisions here and literally just sucked them out, and that was it.
Okay.
And the recovery process was just like a gynoplasty, just like 2 weeks. Yeah, like, just don't do much, and then 2 weeks I can, like, you know, if I told them
start to ease back in.
And that the only difference between the gynoplasty and me is the female and male's nipples are in different positions, so they had to, like, literally remove my nipples and, like, put them back on. So
I didn't know that. Where, like,
I had no idea about that.
yeah, so
I felt breasts before, and I didn't even notice that they were in different positions.
that's another thing. Being trans, like, there's certain things you just know about, like, the human body, and, like, when you look at someone, you instantly go male or female, and it's not the things you would think. It's actually things like hairline, jawline, the silhouette. Like, men's are pointing downward, while females are more, like, straight or, like, up, because men have a more, like, it's just like when I went testosterone, my whole body and bone structure changed into the more masculine, like growth hormone. If you go on growth hormone, you get so masculine, right? What is it? It's like the brows, it's the nose, it's the cheeks,
it's like the widening of your face.
Exactly.
The growth.
The thickness, exactly. The thickness of everything. So it's the small things that really kind of the characteristics of females and males. But going back to the nipples, the females are more like centered. Men's are more like on the outside here.
On outside and
Yeah.
Would you say they're under? I feel like mine are like pushed under a little. And I
Yeah,
don't know
they're
if
like
it's just
no,
like
no.
Maybe
the,
it's the
the pectoral
overdeveloped chest.
muscle
Yeah.
that I have now, but I
No,
feel like
you're right. It's like
the
down and a
overdeveloped
little
muscle.
under. Meanwhile, females are more elevated.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but it was like they were literally like, yeah, just don't do anything drastic because your nipples might fall off. I'm like, okay.
So just back to the
Just what the hell?
No, literally, they're like, for a week, don't do anything. Like, don't do any sudden movements like this because they're still like reattaching. I'm like, no stress, no pressure. That's fine. Yeah.
Could you imagine just looking down?
double check your pepperoni pizzas.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Could you imagine just looking down and just your nipples on the floor? It's like,
I
oh
was
shit!
That was the only terrifying part. Like, that was the only part I was like, oh shit. Like,
I just want to
yeah.
back to the nipple, and your nipple might fall off for 2 sentences. I never expected to hear.
Yeah.
Never.
No, just in a
I
conversation.
mean, I guess if you have to reattach something,
It
it's like
makes
that makes sense
perfect
if you have to be
but it's
cautious
something
of that.
I'd never even thought
Consider.
of about going through any of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mhm.
You're thinking about transitioning your gender and being a whole different person or being who you really are, I guess. These are little things that you never even think of.
Right. And going back to the scarring, if a transgender male does have breast tissue, they usually do double incision, which is like they literally like make 2 incisions like right here on the lower pec, and then they like will pull them out from the bottom, and
like a breast job.
Yeah. And that's when you get the 2 lines here. That's when
Okay.
you see like the more stereotypical. But yeah.
So that's why it was good for you that you did it before it started developing
Right.
fully.
Yeah, or if you're just naturally very flat chested, you can get it as well. Yeah, we call it keyhole. That's the one I got. That's not the actual like name of it, but that's what we call in the community. It's called
Right.
keyhole. And then there's the double incision. That's the one that leaves the scarring. But also, I had a very good surgeon, Dr. Bartlett in Boston. If anyone wants to know.
Send the
Dr. Boston,
Send the check.
send the check.
Send the check.
And you know what's crazy? There's literally people like there are trans guys that will refuse to tell you who their surgeon was. I'm like, what? Like that's so selfish. Like, what if someone really like I don't.
What if somebody thought
They
that you
literally-
did such a phenomenal job that that's what they were hoping
like
to look
how
like?
selfish is
Yeah.
like I'm gonna keep it to myself. Like what? Like no.
See, then it's not a community anymore. It's like a competition.
Yeah.
It's going, I look like more of a female than you do because my surgeon's better, but I don't want you to look as good as I do. You're out of your, that's not a community. There's
So there's
an arena.
there are so many issues in the transgender community. It would be a free podcast and a half, and that's why I don't even like to like associate myself with it because it's so problematic in my opinion. Like, you know, and that's funny because like that's why my like I've noticed me being so outspoken about like how I feel about the transgender community and stuff actually has been helping me on like social media because a lot of people low key agree with me, but they don't want to go out and say it because they don't want to be attacked and
They don't
stuff.
want any backlash.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of funny. So you see everything that goes on in Pride, and it's
Oh my God.
really it's a war underneath there. Huh?
Yes, and it's like
It's not
I
all-
don't want to associate myself with these people because like for example like you're like if someone by accident says something that like you know like I don't get offended. Like why are we getting like some people are so soft and like takes everything so personally. I'm like guys, we're never gonna get anywhere like this.
It's also that's also the new younger generation, our generation and younger. Everyone just gets offended about everything.
Yeah, like I really like even the bathroom stuff. I understand the perspective of if you're a woman and you enter the bathroom and you see what you would, you know, your natural reaction is you see a 6'2", very broad figure that looks masculine. Yeah, your natural instinct is to feel threatened. I understand that. That's like common sense, but some people in the trans community be like, "What? Like, how can you agree with them?" I'm like, because it's not just about us. It's about them too. We have to do this together. This is not it's not just me. What I want, no, that's never that never works in life. That's not how it works, you know. So like, I absolutely like what if she's a mother with her small little child? Like, it's very normal to feel threatened, and that's not malicious. That she could be pro transgender for whatever, but maybe she's never even been exposed to a transgender, and she's like, like I'm saying. So like, I absolutely understand both perspectives, and it's that communication, understanding is so important. And there's so many people in the community who just refuse to like even consider the other side. And the same applies to people on the other side of the trend. I think both sides, there are just some people that like really need to open their minds up a little bit.
It just comes down to if you're a good person or not. You know, that 6'2" could be a volunteer and a nurse, and somebody 4'3" could be a serial killer. You don't know that 4 foot person's going to come and steal your wallet from the mom while she's taking care of her daughter, but 6'3" guy's going to go report it and say, hey, somebody stole your wallet.
It's very insensitive for you to think that the short person's going to steal.
Well, you ever see The Hobbit, Nick?
I have. He's a burglar.
He's a burglar.
So yeah, I just personally don't like to like attach myself to like the. Obviously, again, I'm here. I get so much pleasure knowing that I'm inspiring transgender men to start bodybuilding and stuff like that, and it really means so much to me, and it does make me feel like I'm, other than for myself, I am doing this for a bigger purpose than just myself. But I don't like attaching myself to the whole like modern clout chasing, like woke warrior, like I don't know what you want to say, like community, like and I've seen a lot of success from that, because I think a lot more people are like, what, he's right, like this is ridiculous, like what?
Let's do it for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
do it for you, because that's what it's all about in the first place, and then you just start advertising it. Feel special. And
it's in the media presence, I feel like it's very easy for the more radical sides to always be in the spotlight, and that applies to the transgender community as well. You always see you never see like the normal people. Like you always see the ones that are so like crazy. I'm like, oh my God, we're not all like this, I swear to God.
The ones that they're not just transgender, they're out of their mind.
Yeah. It's like I'm transgender and also a sociopath that needs attention 24/7. So like, yeah.
So now I have a question, and you don't have to tell me what you've had done, but I just want to know options for people. So down south, I guess you could say, right?
Like bottom surgery?
Yeah.
So I
want to preface it. You don't have to say what you have or what you don't.
No, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I just want to know, just for me, what the options are for somebody transitioning from female to male.
Okay. So this is a thing. Believe it or not, for female, for male to female, it's much more advanced. Like the other way around is like bottom surgery is so much more advanced.
From male to female.
Yeah.
It's harder.
No, it's better.
Oh, it's better.
It's way better. For people like in my position, I honestly don't even know the names of them, because I never really got too into them, because I don't think they're worth it yet. There's two, as far as I'm concerned. There's one where they literally take skin from your arm and they'll like shape and like form a penis, and then like they'll attach it to you and you can like pee with it and stuff. But it doesn't look like 100%.
Doesn't look like a penis.
It looks like a penis, kind of. That's the best way to put it.
But it doesn't get an erection.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, like it's not like you can't use it sexually or anything. So it's just for peeing. And I think there's one more where this one sounds really painful. They literally like take your vagina and like invert it.
Oof.
And like, but that again, it's gonna be like really small.
I think I've heard that they do the male surgery.
Yeah, the penile the other way around.
They split it and they push it in, right?
Yes, but it's very realistic, at least. Like you'd be surprised. Like it looks very like you would not be able to tell that it's not like
really
that you weren't born with a vagina. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if I'm gonna get bottom surgery, which would be a long recovery and etc., I want that thing fully functioning. Like, I don't, I like. There's no purpose, because there's so many better alternatives. There's so many better alternatives. Like, I don't care. Like bathroom wise, I'm just gonna pee in a stall. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And then like, sexually, like with all my partners, they've been more than satisfied. So like, why would I get something that's not worth it? And in the transgender community, like for like female to male, there's these things, they're like prosthetics, and they're very expensive. They're less expensive than the bottom surgery for sure, but they're still expensive, and they literally like attach to your skin, and they're very realistic, and you would have no idea. So more people just do that, because it's just like Most
Is
of us
is
don't
it
really.
more
Yeah,
so?
I wanna know
is
more
it,
about that.
Is it
That's
more
it.
It's
so
more for sexual.
sexual
Yeah.
than it is for
Yeah.
like urinating?
Yeah, but again, it attaches like directly to the skin, and both parties can feel it because on testosterone you do have natural growth. So like I don't know how to describe it other than like it literally like attaches to yourself, and like what's a good way to put it? Like it becomes an extension of yourself in a
Right,
sense,
right.
and both parties feel pleasure from it. So and it's really realistic. Like it's scary
So-
realistic.
I'm kind of picturing like, humor me, in the future of all this. Did you ever see the prosthetics that are attaching to the nerves nowadays? Where like little girls that like don't have an arm or something, they can move these prosthetic fingers with the nerves that are going in their arms.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll go down that road?
I think it's gonna go down the road of what's it called? Stem cell, probably.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
So
Because-
growing something.
Literally,
Yeah, I think that's where it's gonna go. Or honestly, I think that's the way it should go. But
that would make a lot more sense.
yeah, I think like just like stem
Stem cell research still banned in like medical practices, I guess, in certain areas.
Definitely certain areas.
Yeah,
but
because
don't
I
believe
know
everywhere.
I don't know enough on that.
Not everywhere, but more of
You
like
hit,
the.
you hit my mic. What the hell?
I'm sorry. And I get so
Alex, send the
dehydrated.
check. It's not cheap.
Yeah, but so like for me, that's so much more. It just makes so much more sense. And like again, like
Listen, if you're gonna spend the money, spend the time on something, at least make sure you're gonna get some enjoyment out of it too.
right, and like
Right.
and like it's literally more realistic than the surgery. So like
Or wait until it's.
Is this something?
Perfected.
Is it something that detaches and attaches? So you only attach it during sex, or would it be something that is on you
your
all
choice.
the time?
It's your choice.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So probably
It's
easier
a
to-
process though, because once it's on it's very hard to take off.
Oh, really? It's like surgically done, or?
It's not surgical, but it's not like it's gonna just fall off or anything. It's very like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's very realistic. Like you would not be able to tell.
And how does it do it? Is it like a pump?
What to get an erection?
Yeah.
Kinda. I don't know. There's different kinds. Like it really depends. Like what you want. Some of them are just like always erect. Some of them like have a pump. It really depends. Like
So it's like me walking around in high school, just with an erection 24/7.
yeah.
But now if it attaches to
I
your
don't
skin,
I don't wear it when I train because I just don't care enough. Like that's
Okay.
fucking, like I
But-
don't wear it.
if it just attaches to your skin, then obviously you don't feel anything, right?
Well, again, it's like kind of hollow on the inside, and because I'm on testosterone for a while, I've had natural growth down there, so it kind of like attaches, and like my parts will go like in it, and it
Okay.
has like it's like almost like real skin, so like I feel actual like friction and
Sensation.
stuff. Yeah,
Right. Oh,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
It's-
glad they have something like
Yeah.
this. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's hard to describe, but that's the best I can do.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's more than you give me more than enough because I had no
more
idea
than we
something
knew
like
that was existing.
Yeah, that's what I was
Right.
say. I didn't even know something like that was out there.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of it's like 10 grand to get it, but it's the surgery is 50. So I mean,
Damn.
At
yeah,
the same time, is if you spend the 10 and then the surgery advances, it's not like you can get another surgery,
exactly.
right? So wait till the surgery is perfect. It's like getting LASIK and 50% chance you'll be blind. I'm gonna wait until it's not 50%
like-
chance anymore.
That's like hair.
Absolutely.
That's like the joke. You guys know Bill Burr?
yeah.
Bill Burr's an amazing comedian. You got to listen to him.
I need to get into comedians. I don't get enough.
Hysterical. He's one of the funniest guys I've ever heard. But he was talking about surgeries that aren't yet perfected, and why would you be the guinea pig for that? He's talking about hair plugs. He's like basically back in the '90s when they were stapling ant legs on your head. Like, guys would be tapping out after one row. He's like, all right, I've had enough. Fuck it, I'll stay bald.
Not worth it. You know they're doing a head transplant in Italy.
A
heard
full
about
head
that. I heard about
transplant.
Yes.
Yeah. Brain,
Really?
face, everything.
Okay, so now here's the question: Is that another guy? So the guy that did the head transplant, his body was bad,
I guess so.
and so now his head is on somebody else's body.
Yeah, I think they tried to make it so like, say you were paralyzed from the neck down, right? But you wanted to still be you and live a lifestyle.
Get up on that
Live
mic,
a
son.
life.
Get up on
Live
that
a
mic.
life. I should know better.
Yeah, you should. Maybe tell you that.
And you wanted to be you more, right? Still live your life. Now, obviously, what makes you you is your brain. So take that brain, put it to something else. You can't really do a brain transplant because it might not be the same amount of room and it'd be a different face. It'd be a
Yeah.
whole different you.
And all the attachments
Could you
and
imagine
stuff.
waking up
Yeah.
and
But I just wonder, like, I mean, I'm assuming they're going to use a dead corpse for like the body, right? How do they rejuvenate that?
I don't know, because at the same time, it had to be really recently dead, or else
That's what I'm
the
saying.
nerves and everything would be fried.
Otherwise, you're going to be like pink and then blue. Like,
Well, forget about that, but it'd be the same problem as before. It would all
Yeah.
be dead tissue.
They
It'd
gave
be-
me a Spanish body. What the hell?
imagine. Oh my
Or a
god.
They
black
turned
body.
Nick into a
I have a
Colombian
white,
girl.
white face. I'm like, what the hell?
Imagine like oh, but that's terrible. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're trying to do it.
I mean, listen, good on them
Yeah,
because there's
that's awesome.
just some crazy shit going on, but that would freak me out to
But you know
look
what
down and it'd be a different body.
But you know what I don't get though is the people who are saying, no, I don't want to have this research. This research might open up new doors that save the lives of millions, but you don't want to research this because, oh, well, my religious views, I don't believe in it. I don't care if you don't believe in it, you don't do it. But
Don't
Well,
hinder-
that's the same thing with
don't
don't
hinder
inhibit-
someone else.
Don't inhibit the progress.
It's the
of
same
the
thing we were saying
world.
with you before. It's like
Exactly.
the people that have a lot to say about you transitioning or anybody else transitioning. It's like, shut the fuck up. It's not your business.
It's
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like I'm not going to tell you what to believe in. Just don't tell me how to live and what I believe. Like, that's all.
If you believe he'll go to hell, cool. All right. Anyway.
Okay.
What do you want for lunch? It's not.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like some people, I really don't need that financial or like motivational support. Just respect me as a human. That's all. That's all I'm really asking. Like,
Even don't respect your decision. Just leave me alone.
yeah, true.
If you're some random guy in,
Nah, man, you know that the internet's
Netwoods of
made everybody
Kentucky.
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got
That's
an
the funny
opinion.
thing because in real life they'll never say it to your face.
Oh,
when they
no, never,
actually,
never,
like,
never.
When they like those two guys in the airport, when I told them, they're like, oh shit. They're like, oh, we were just saying some pretty rude things, and like their whole demeanor completely changed. So I'm like, yeah, be careful. You never know who you're around.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like the whole aura. I like everything about just you as a person because
Thank
you're
you.
just real. So
thank you
that's
so much.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
I try.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, did you have any questions that you had anybody that wanted to
Yeah,
ask?
we got a
answer?
lot, I'm sure.
I got some questions. I think a lot of people are like, still doing 4th of July stuff.
So I was telling
Yeah.
telling John, I upgraded to iOS 13. So I have like the beta software on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I've done that, I can't share anybody. Like if you tag me in your story,
Really?
I can't share your post because I guess it's a glitch that Instagram hasn't yet done.
Instagram's been very glitchy lately. in
Yeah,
general.
but
Yeah.
now so like really, it'll just sit there in limbo. Like it won't load anything. It'll stay a black
That's annoying.
screen. I close out Instagram and then it's as if I never tried to repost
Wow.
it. So every time you tried to post that you're going to come on, I tried to repost it for questions and it just kept shitting on me. So
I have I have a couple that are trans related and then some that are just gym related. Do you want which ones would you
All of them.
yeah,
All
that's
of
fine.
them.
Whichever one's your favorite, whichever
is-
ones
this is you.
you think is great information to have out there. I mean,
Yeah. This podcast's about you. It's not just trans. That defeats everything we said
Yeah,
before.
very
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, so a good question I got was,
and if you
kind
need,
of
if you
going-
need internet, by the way, I don't mean to cut you off before you say it. If you need internet, I'll connect you to the Wi-Fi
I'm
because
good.
it's shit in here.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it loaded. So one person asked, trans people on T when like using macros, etc. What gender should we input? I think if you're pre-testosterone, probably like a females, and then if you've been on testosterone for like a year, over male. Right? Would you agree? You're the science guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
thank you for that.
Yeah.
But I would agree. However, if you're truly training a lot harder than you would consider a female training, like if you're a woman transitioning to a man, but you're training more than you would consider a woman would put in the work,
Right.
then you'd need more calories.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of these macro calculators don't really, you can't input things when they say activity level. They're considering a woman's activity level, half to a man if you put the full bar up there. So if you consider yourself, I'm working as hard as a man, and you are on testosterone, even if it's for a couple months, then your body's still going to use it. So I
Right.
would say maybe go with the man.
And also experiment, because I feel like that's such an individual question.
Yeah, those macro calculators really aren't great.
Yeah.
Like Nick was saying, if you're Italian, you're not going to work too well on carbs. You're going to fucking balloon up.
Which is really ironic.
Yeah.
Talk to my love handles, man. They are miserable.
But it's person to person. I'm Italian too, and my body sucks up carbs like it's nothing.
Right.
I eat them up.
Yeah, mine hates me. mine's like, oh, bread again? Guess what? Thought you were wearing 33. Guess what? Now you're at 36.
We're going to save it for later. That's how much we liked it.
Another question I got was, what part of your gym career would you consider to be the hardest? I think all of them have their hard parts, because I feel like, especially as a bodybuilder, you're never satisfied. It's not like...
It's a never-ending journey.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It's. I think the beginning obviously is a little frustrating because it's like slow. But even now, like you always want more and more and more, you know? So I don't think there is a harder part.
The issue is, and it's not really an issue, the issue for me, which I'll say, is you look at yourself every single day. Mm-hmm. So unless you're...
And people around you look at you all the time.
And unless you're taking real progress photos, not to stunt on Instagram and try to get likes and shit like that, but you're taking actual progress photos, same lighting, same time, no food in you, right when you wake up, right after you go to the bathroom type thing, and you are consistent with that, and it's really there to diary and journal exactly what you look like bi-weekly, weekly, however you need to see these changes and see if this is actually working for you. You know, it could be a tough road, because a small change that you see on a daily basis, although you look like you don't look like you're doing anything or gaining, you actually are. Your body's just so used to seeing it.
Oh my God, especially in the off season.
I feel like the best indicator for growth is your clothing, even fat loss.
I agree.
Because you see yourself going, oh, I'm not looking good, but the shirt's a lot tighter and my abs are still there. So maybe there's something to it.
I agree. I've noticed like my pants like fit me, like they're a little looser and stuff. I'm like, oh.
I feel like the hardest thing for the general public, at least, would be the lack or the understanding of misinformation, but not understanding that it's misinformation. Yeah. Because you could be thinking, because you saw somebody on Instagram do this or eat this, that it's right, but you don't understand that it's not correct or it's not going to work for you. So the biggest thing I would say is to counter what I believe is the hardest part, to just do your research. Don't research on Instagram. Don't research bodybuilding.com. Pick up an anatomy textbook like I did. Yeah. Pick up a biology textbook. You know,
Science
research. It's not easy, but research engineering architecture. You know, your body it's exactly what it is. You know, if you're going to squat through your heel or your toe, you know, where does your body have the most foundation, like a building?
Be a student of the sport.
Yeah. Are you going to put the most weight on the foundation, like your toes, or the foundation, the heel that's directed right up to the bone, right to the muscle? Where you're going to be able to apply the most pressure with the least amount of injury, right in the foundation. You know, scaffolding can fall.
And also, I think you just naturally learn your body and what works and stuff, and it's important to listen to it too.
True.
Yeah,
it's true.
Another question I got was, I'm gonna talk to Mike. Another question I got.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Better than me before, apparently. And I've been doing this for a while. Hours of content.
Hours.
Really? So how do you think college will affect your lifting schedule? Are you excited to start Hofstra? I don't think it's gonna affect it, because I already know my schedule, and I've already planned out exactly all my meals in my off season. Meal 1 through 6, if there are more, I can fit them in. And I just plan to bring my food with me wherever I am, wherever I need to. I'm gonna be in my apartment, you know. So happy about it. So
we have to.
It's no excuse. I mean, I'll make the food the night before, get them ready for the day, and then just bring them. I have like a lunchbox with me, and I bring it around. And I think as a bodybuilder, you kind of have to get over the, oh my God, I have to eat in front of everyone. You know, like it's just like, yep, I'm gonna eat right now, like right now.
Like, you know, get over that and invest in a meal bag.
Yeah,
I had six. I had two. I had a 6-pack fitness bag, and I had an ISO meal bag. I like the 6-pack fitness better. It was built way better than the ISO.
Yeah, you know what? I have my my 6-pack bag as well. I just took the little slots
Tray
out
out
of it,
and
then I put as much. I just stuff it as much shit as I want.
It holds a ton of shit, man.
Yeah, it holds more than you realize.
And it's got I think 4 shakes on the side.
So we have the same bag.
Yeah, man.
And if I need an extra meal or something, I'll just stick a meal on the side, put an ice pack in there too.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Just do what works. I have a couple more.
Definitely, man.
I got, what are you most nervous about college? Honestly, I'm not nervous. I'm really excited because I did take a gap year between senior year and first year of college. It's just like a family tradition to just take a year, really get yourself out of the get yourself out of the education system. Because it's so easy to be influenced by all your peers, your teachers' opinions and stuff. You know, get yourself out and really ask yourself what makes you happy. Who are you? What do you want to do with your life? Because it's so easy if everyone around is like, oh, I'm gonna go for nursing and I'm gonna do this. It's so easy to be like, oh, maybe I should do that. So if you kind of like just detach yourself from that, I think it's really healthy to get to know yourself. So I took a gap year, and I'm really happy I did. I'm going for a marketing major, and then I want to minor in biochem. Reasoning, I want to like get into like supplement industry and stuff like that for like financially in the future possibly. And I think those are, you know, that's where the biochem minor comes from. But for the marketing, I do want to do business of like, you know, bodybuilding and the fitness industry, because I think there is a lot of profit and stuff in it. So marketing, that's why I'm doing that. I'm not really nervous. I think I know this sounds weird, but I think it's pointless to be nervous because it'll only hinder you. Like, I think it's just important to micromanage and set small goals and just make sure to like try and accomplish them.
Just be as ready as humanly possible.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Less thinking, more doing, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
What's it called? 2 more. What's your strength and weak point for your physique? I've been told my strengths are like my bicep peaks and my legs. That's what I've been told. So that's what I will say. My weak points is my neck. And I actually think that's because naturally I obviously have a thinner neck because I was born female. But I have recently started to like really train it directly and stuff. So we're going to get it up. I would say my neck. I don't know if that's considered like a muscle group, but my neck. And then
It is.
Yeah, right. So
It's definitely a muscle group.
Yeah, so my neck and my forearms, I guess, but they're proportionate. I just want big forearms. You know, that's just more of a personal thing. So I want to be able to wear like those rag tops and just the forearms are like, oh, he's legit. You know, like.
Yeah.
And then the last question I got was about tattoos, if they leave stretch marks or like are bad for Bibling. I would say no. I think that's a misconception.
You know
Yes and no. It depends. It depends on where they're placed. I
Yeah.
find I was thinking of getting a tattoo, and I was thinking of getting an elbow to wrist on one of my arms. I don't know which one, or maybe even both. But that's also with the thought process of if I ever decide to compete again, these areas are left unmarked. So
Right.
if I have my
Yeah.
forearms done, it's not as much of a drastic blow as when I have my chest or my back done, and it's so hard to see the detail. I went, and I know John's going to have some stuff to say on this, but when I competed, my second show, I went again. The kid that got first was covered neck to weight to probably actually his feet. I think his calves and his shins.
He went hard.
He went everything.
Yeah,
I don't think there was, besides his face, I don't think there was any other tattoos on him.
Rich piano style.
Seriously. And when you looked at the photos of all of us standing next to each other, did I deserve first? Abso-fucking-lutely not. I did not. It was 4 guys in my class. I got 4th, so technically I got last. But do I think that he deserved first? Absolutely not. I think that he should have been put in 4th because you couldn't see any detail on him at all. I think the kid that got second should have gotten first. I think we all should have just jumped up one because it was so distracting and it didn't do anything for him. If tattoos are gonna, in my opinion, if tattoos are going to accentuate your lines and you get them after your body's mostly developed,
Right.
and you have an idea, unless you're gonna go crazy and get humongous, like a Jay Cutler or something like that, and then it doesn't, or a Phil Heath, and it doesn't even matter because your skin's gonna change so much. You already have an idea of what your body is gonna roughly look like, and it's just gonna get bigger from there. If the tattoos are gonna accentuate it, fantastic.
Right. Like I have a collarbone tattoo. It's just right here. That's not going to really affect
But
me.
you know what though? Any tattoo, it's if you really do want to train, go hard, and go be one of the best guys in the world, every muscle in your body is going to be grainy. So that too is going to cover up grainy muscle. You know, I have a good buddy of mine. His name's Meezy. The guy's 6'3". He's African American.
Oh, King, big dude.
Yeah, King
yeah,
Meezy.
Yeah.
He's
Covered,
He's
yeah.
tatted up head to fucking toe. But what you might have been missing with looking back at the pictures from if he should have taken first or not. Even Mr. Olympia, you know, maybe you don't photograph well, but looking from the judges 10 feet away, maybe he did have more line. You know, it's hard.
Maybe
it's hard
I'm
to
telling
say.
you, man, he was. I
I can't see it, so it's hard to
I gotta
say.
find that
Some
photo.
people
Yeah,
just
find
don't,
it.
like some people have great physiques and they just don't photograph well.
They look like shit in a picture. You go, how does this guy look like this? See him open up, you go, oh shit, who's that guy? It's not the same person.
Right.
You
I
know?
agree.
But I'm a big believer of if you want to compete,
Sacrifices.
maybe tattoos aren't the best.
Or like
Because it's
subtle
gonna-
ones, like the forearm, the
Little ones.
Like
The
maybe
fact that-
maybe a calf tattoo. I mean, if you really need to get something done.
Yeah. But it's the same thing of you never need to get it done. You know what I mean? You want a tattoo.
It's not life or death.
But if you want to be a pro bodybuilder, maybe it's not worth
put that
the
on
inhibiting.
hold.
Yeah,
What's his name? Put it on hold. Buendia.
Yeah.
Buendia put it
Yeah.
on hold until he knew he was done competing, and now he's getting
Then do
totally
it.
covered.
Look at Dorian Yates. Dorian Yates has got his whole back done with stuff that he likes.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks fucking beautiful. But it would have covered up a lot of definition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying don't get any tattoos if it's something you're really passionate about. But make sure that passion is more passionate than your dream to be a bodybuilder, a pro bodybuilder.
I agree.
Not that you can't go pro with tattoos, but definitely won't help.
Do you want to risk it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, there's no judging panel that says, "Oh, tattoo -1 point." But if it's a subjective sport. You know, it's getting to the nitty gritty of shit. Is he taking first or second? You know, I don't like tattoos.
That dude that I competed against was kissing mad ass. I gotta find that photo
Yeah,
because
find
that
it
was
for me.
some bullshit. Now I'm getting mad. I was like, yo, that's some bullshit.
guy.
Fuck that guy. He's not even doing anything anymore. It was like, I was so mad because that kid that was second, he looked good, man. That kid looked good. He deserved first.
I'm sure he got his first place now though. By now.
Maybe I don't.
If you're that good,
I
you
retired.
will.
I hung up the board shorts. That was it.
Or what if that guy was he thought he was gonna take first there, but then he hung it up because he didn't get first. He didn't deserve it.
He could have been Mr. Olympia.
He was going to be Mr. Olympia.
It was just that motherfucker with the tattoos that screwed it all up.
But I think if I don't
Ruined his dream.
I don't think so because if I think it takes a certain mindset to be a Mr.
Oh no,
Olympia.
of course.
Yeah, I know you guys are just messing around. But
Yeah, no, I knew.
Yeah.
We said it a couple times in the earlier podcast. I always wanted to be a pro, and then I knew I was like,
I still got that.
I'm okay.
I'm still shooting for it.
good for you. And I support
I still
you.
got- I
I
still got
support
time on my
both of you
side.
guys 100%
Yeah.
of the way. So I want both of you to kick some ass out there for me.
That's it.
Yeah, and then we could eat after you guys are done. So
Cheesecake
That's
Factory.
it.
do you
Good
want to
one.
do you want to give any plugs or anything like that? You want to put your Instagram out there if anybody has any questions they want
You have
to
anything
DM
else you
you?
want to say?
I mean, thank you so much for having me. Like, being on here with. Meanwhile, you've had like a Rosh on here, and like you're gonna have like Steve Glorious and stuff. Like for me, that's like crazy. So thank you. It's really an honor. If you do want to follow me, I have an Instagram. It's Alex Tilinca. I really try and go through all my DMs, and again, I literally am an open book. Just ask anything, I will answer very honestly. So that's my goal because I think I like to keep things simple, and I think I don't like smoke and mirrors, so I think it's really important to be like that. So if you have any questions,
A positive spokesperson in the right light. It's
and like,
awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Exactly, and without overdoing it, obviously, because I don't like doing that either. But
Yeah.
so thank you guys so much for having me.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a pleasure. I
No,
know.
this is a great episode, man. It was
Yeah.
something that they say you learn something new every day, and I didn't learn a lot more than one thing today from you.
Yeah, thank you.
I didn't know what meant any of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I told you. I had no idea. It was only just news articles that I hear, and everyone's outraged about something, whether it's the trans community or whether it's what do you even call us? Like everyone's regular. So like the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like there's both sides of the argument. Everyone's offended about something. So I didn't really know much about it besides what you hear on the news, where everyone's angry, and it's
Yeah.
nice to have light shed on the
Yeah.
topic.
I always knew everybody's angry, but I don't give a fuck who's angry. You do what you want. Don't be an asshole.
Exactly.
That's my motto
Absolutely.
in life. You do you. Just don't be a dick.
yeah, exactly. And
like
don't allow yourself don't limit yourself just based off circumstance. It's so silly. Like it's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. So
Yeah, I
Alright.
think that you gonna lead this outro, John.
I love the intro. Let's do it again. Thank
right.
you guys for coming. This has been another episode of The Voice
And Rizzles
and Alex.
and Alex.
thank you.
Signing off.
Bye.
Peace.